Hey, Hound Dogs. I'm David Hankins,
And I'm Paul
and
Hankins.
welcome to On the Air with Power Squared. We have a guest tonight. We're supposed to have two, but we only have one right at the moment. Jeremy Danger Dean, who is a
That is
co-founder of Comic Rebel. Sorry, Comic Rebel. Yeah, get the name right. Sorry about that. So you're working with Alisa Mayhem Cummings or Clar? What's her last
yes.
name?
It's Cummins is
Cummings.
her name.
Okay,
Correct.
showed up on the thing as Clar. Um, so I met her through LinkedIn, and you're her partner. So I guess we'll talk to you about about things.
Yeah.
See if she can join us later. So your background's in software engineering.
That is correct. Partially. Mostly.
Now
Yeah. Sorry.
that's fine. And you said that you kind of rebooted your life in 2011. Is that when you got out of software engineering, or?
It is. It's when I started looking elsewhere. I'm still in it. Um, I got in probably let's see, around 1998 or 1999. I kind of fell into it when the internet boom kind of exploded, and people were basically hiring without interviewing. So I kind of went out there. It was a crazy time. Crazy time. Couldn't fill seats fast enough. Uh, and I did that for about 20 years, 15 to 20 years, um, until until where I am now. But yeah, 2011 is really when I started realizing that I didn't want to do it anymore. But it pays, so you kind of
Yeah,
stick with the money when you have to.
I
Yeah.
understand that totally. Wish I was doing full time this, but that's not how it works. Um, so when did you start working with Elisa?
We officially started working together about 3 years ago. We met in 2011, and we were friends until then, or we met back then. We would hang out every once in a while, and we love to just kind of create, talk, and just blue sky kind of stuff. But about 3 years ago is when we actually got together, and we're um, fiancés,
Oh,
so we're actually together, and that happened 3 years ago
oh,
as well. And that's kind of when all the magic started happening. We started creating, working on a lot of projects together.
right.
Um, but this is the one that we're like, got to do it.
Okay. Um, so congratulations on being engaged.
Thank you.
Do you have any? Have you set a date yet, or is that still?
It, it's a floating date. It's changed a couple times. We want to go big. To be honest, we're just not ready to go big yet. So
I
um,
guess then COVID doesn't help.
Yeah, yeah,
really, really did not.
yeah.
That's all I think.
Okay. So where are you located, or based from?
I'm in the Temecula area, California. It's about an hour east of LA.
Right. We're in Los Angeles, or Van
Oh,
Nuys, so
I don't have to
or,
explain it to you.
or Lake Balboa if you want to get fancy. Uh, um, so tell us about the ventures that you guys got involved with together.
Initially,
Yeah,
so
we'll build
yeah,
up.
yeah, we'll build up. Back in 2019, we had this dream together to create an online uh, themed entertainment academy slash um, safe place for creativity. We really wanted. She came in to this relationship with a whole bunch of contacts in the entertainment industry. She knows a lot of people, and I knew technology. We just thought, hey, maybe we could do something to this. Get everybody together, make some cool stuff happen. We both love theme parks, and we were noticing that a lot of the older Disney Imagineers and really creative people were starting to get a little bit older, and all that knowledge that that's kind of out there right now is not really going to be there forever unless we take advantage of it and learn from these amazing people. So that was kind of our first big project together, was to see if we could get all these people together and start sharing knowledge and educating each other. Um, we were working on that for a while, and it just wasn't picking up like we wanted it to. Um, so we kind of moved on from there. We've done a few other small projects, like we've been working on creating real world scavenger hunts based on your mobile phone. Kind of just been all over the place, just trying to go crazy and see what we could come up with, you know?
Right. Um, I noticed on your website there was Alisa's Curious Creatives Academy. Is that what you were talking about earlier?
Yeah, that's what we called it.
Okay. And that sort of didn't come to fruition as much as you wanted, I guess?
Actually, we've kind of converted it to a different crowd. Instead of themed entertainment, it's actually the comic crowd now. That's
Okay.
still alive. It's just kind of evolved into something a little bit different.
Okay. And then you had the Waypointer Experience Designer.
Yeah, that
What
is correct.
you want to tell us
That
about that?
that is an engine that I built. That uh, the idea was that you could create a computer could create a story on the fly and let you live out that story by way of text and video and images and um, other things, that anything else I could think of to trigger or control the computer. You know, whether you get things in the mail from a computer, or basically a computer controlled story that happens in the real world, and use your mobile phone as the interface between reality and the computer can know where you're at. It can know a whole bunch of things about you just from your phone. So I thought, hey, what if we could kind of bring a story to life using all of these tools? So that's kind of a behind the scenes too that I will get to one day as
Okay.
well.
Okay. And then I saw a podcast, Danger and Mayhem's Curious World.
Oh, that was a kind of a TV series or web series that we started, and COVID really put the damper on that one. We got one video in, we started production on two other ones, and then COVID hit, and we were that. Yeah, we had
Yeah.
to stop that as well.
I did watch it, and it was, it's very, it was interesting, I guess. And then you have Faraway Tales is coming.
Yes, that's actually one of the ideas that really sparked the idea for Comic Rebel. Kind of the same format, but it was just on a much smaller scale. When COVID hit, we noticed that that's when the theme parks were starting to shut down, and all the people that we knew were starting to lose their jobs, and it was a really hard time in the industry. I mean, I think everybody felt it, but we decided to maybe help out and put some of these creative people to work again, uh, creating stories, digital stories, storybooks, and we built an app, Faraway Tales app. Um, Again, trying to get a bunch of artists together to create storybooks for kids during a time when there was kind of lacking in entertainment.
Right.
So yeah, we got that off the ground a little bit. But then COVID kind of lightened up and everyone went back to work, and we had a bunch of half finished product.
Right.
Um, but what that experience was really good for was really showing the need for storytelling.
Right.
I think it ties into some experiences which I can get into in a bit, about why I think what we're doing is so important. Telling stories, keeping people entertained and dreaming is crucial, especially I think today more than ever.
So before we get into Comic Rebel, have you ever done a comic book yourself before?
No, I've always wanted to. Back in high school, I wanted to so badly. It was all I could think about. In fact, if you don't mind, I'd like to tell you a little story,
Sure.
because it's like, I must have been in sixth grade, and I was just getting into comics. Batman just came out, Tim Burton's Batman. Like so many, it totally like changed my life. um, my dad was renting out a little office back by my house. He was working out of it, and two doors down, there was another guy, that my dad said, "Hey, Jeremy, come here. I want you to meet somebody." Walked two doors down, walked into this little white room, and there was like some comic posters on the wall, and there was like a drawing pedestal in the corner, and the guy gets up, and he comes over and he's like, "Hey, are you Jeremy?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he was a comic book artist. I had no idea who he was at the time, but he was showing me around, and I was like, wide-eyed. But at the same time, I was thinking, man, this isn't very. Even as a kid, I was thinking, man, this isn't very glamorous. I was thinking like, wow, these guys must work at Disneyland or something, but it's really not that way at all. He was a really cool guy. He was really nice. He ended up just giving me this original art cover of Batman that he did, and at the bottom I looked at it and it was signed Jim Valentino, and I didn't know who that was at the time, but
Right.
of course he went on to be one of the co-founders for Image Comics along with Jim Lee and
Oh,
so that was a few years later.
right.
But I've always had this thing in in my uh, my memory about that, and uh, that was like the only experience I ever had for actually pursuing a comic. All the other experiences I've had were actually people talking me out of making a comic, just because it's so hard to make money with.
Uh-huh.
Even people in the industry, as a kid, I remember people telling me, "You like comics? Don't do it.
Yeah.
Just don't do it." And I actually got talked out of it, and that's one of the reasons why I'm doing what I'm doing now, is because I still want to make a comic. I'm 45 years old almost, and I regret it, and I don't want other people to make that same mistake.
Right. When I was a kid, my father was the editor of a newspaper in Dallas. That's where I'm from. And I was, I want to get into journalism, and everybody's like, no, no, don't do that. You'll never make any money or whatever. And he had a reporter over, and my brother was working at Sears, and they were so much more excited that he was doing a summer job at Sears than my desire to be in journalism that I started, okay, maybe this isn't what I want to do. So it's easy to get overwhelmed. Okay, so you've never done a comic book. Has Alisa done one ever?
Nope, we're very heavy into art. We love art. I've been following comics forever. We're more writers, if anything.
Right.
Um,
Yeah,
but
we're writers and we pay somebody to draw it, so
there you go.
it gets
Yeah,
pricey that way. If you can write and draw, you're home free.
I know, right?
That does get to be expensive. Okay, so this leads you up to Comic Rebel. So tell us, what's the concept behind your platform?
Comic Rebel is one of two pieces that we're working on. Comic Rebel is a mobile app. You could compare it to Comixology. Only the goal of this app is to give back to the creators and not take all the money. I think that's the biggest complaint that everybody has, right? You get 35% of your your take, right? It's 35%, and I think that's unacceptable. If we want to really support the idea of people working with their passions and making a living with their passions, we really have to respect the idea of giving back to the people that want to do that. Um, it goes along with why I never became a comic artist to begin with. The whole idea is just to give the money back. But as we started digging into some of the other problems in the industry, we really realized there's a whole lot of other problems that we could help solve, uh, aside from just the money. Which kind of brings in the second part. We have a publishing platform that publishes directly to Comic Rebel. Sorry, it's called Create Oasis.
Mm-hmm.
And it is our place for comic creators to sign up, log in, hang out, publish their comics. We're still working on a lot of functionality for things like community and writing tools, and we have a lot of stuff that we're just going to have. We want to basically create a very creative environment for people to get together. We have project management in the works where you can start a new comic project and set up all your pages, and then hire people directly from the community to come in and work on it, and then publish directly to Comic Rebel, which is our mobile app.
Right.
So yeah, altogether, it's a huge collaborative couple of software platforms that integrate with each other. That really the focus is just to speed up the production of awesomely made comics. Yeah.
Okay. So you've gone live with this?
We're going live with the mobile app like any day. When the software's done, we're testing the heck out of it. We're also trying to get as many published books into our library as possible before we go live. So we're accepting submissions like crazy right now, if anyone's got a comic ready to go, we're ready to read it and accept it.
So is there an approval process to get under?
There is. It's pretty light. We're not like a traditional publisher where we're only choosing certain types and only things we like. We're kind of more of an Etsy, if you
Okay.
think about it. Like if you can think about it like that, where we'll accept pretty much anything within certain guidelines, and then our job is really, we believe that every comic has an audience somewhere, whether it's big or small. There's an audience. Our job is more of like a matchmaking service where we're trying to find, or we have some tools in place to actually help you find your audience. So having those tools kind of allows us to kind of accept everybody and just kind of get everybody together and make this as big as possible.
Okay. So how is it going so far?
It's going really well. We've got a lot of really great feedback. I'm direct contact with over 1,000 people right now
Wow.
on comic creators. Some, a lot of them have finished products, a lot of them don't. But again, we're working with. We're just trying to get our library filled up to X amount, just so we have something to present.
Okay.
But
So, I mean, one of the things that you seem to be trying to address is finding an audience for people. How's that going to work in layman's terms? Because I'm not a programmer.
so, like the matchmaking thing I was talking
Yeah.
about. So usually when you go and you go online and you see a comic book and you know nothing about it, you get something like 4 out of 5 stars or 100 people liked it, right? It doesn't really tell you anything. It doesn't tell you if you're gonna like it. So we actually are taking that kind of an idea and we're kind of breaking it out a little more, and we're asking the readers direct questions like, what do you value most in a comic? Is it the art? Is it the story? Is it diversity? Is it all the
Yeah.
things that are important right now? And once you break those things down and get that kind of data going, then you can start to really get interesting as far as taking a comic that has been rated that way by other people and matching it. Using things like machine learning, you can match those kinds of profiles with comics that are more likely to really strike with the reader. So, and the more of those metrics we break out, the more accurate it'll be. So, we have a few in mind, but I'm sure that list will grow over time. The more information we get, basically, from our readers, the better we'll be able to match them with the right comic creator.
Okay. Um, one of the things that you talk about is creative, to reach their target audience. We've had several creative people on the show, and we always ask the question, "Who's your target audience?" And a lot of them go, "I have no idea." And
Yeah.
so how is your matching thing going to help those people if they don't know who their target audience is? Or
So part of our job, the software, is kind of using what I was just talking about. That's really to identify who their target audience is. Our software will be able to do that just by asking people what they like versus what's over here and match them that way.
are
Right?
you going to be analyzing the comic books themselves?
Yeah, I mean, we have things in place where when we do the approval process for a comic, we mark certain things about it, like um, just like, is it in color and that kind of thing. And then also the creators themselves add data as well. So we're continuously describing these comics the best way we can so that we can match it up with what readers want. The individual reader, not groups.
Right. Okay. Just so how do you see your relationship with the creators in this process? I mean, you're obviously being somewhat selective, not but yeah. How do you see interacting with the creators? I guess.
I'm kind of in the thick right now. I'm there to help anybody who needs anything. I've already helped people format their pages to get them ready for uploading. A lot of people, I'm just kind of helping them get started in the industry altogether that have nothing to do with the platform at all. I'm kind of just kind of in the trenches, trying to make sense of the chaos at the moment. But as far as my relationship with them, I'm in it. These are my people. I'm loving it so far.
So if somebody was to submit to you, is that on an exclusive basis, or is that a non-exclusive basis, or?
Non-exclusive. We're trying to create the perfect scenario the best we can. Yeah, we need to obviously keep the lights on, but if we hold true to our original mission, it's to solve some of these problems in the industry. And exclusivity, I believe, is part of the problem. When you're locked into things like only selling your book in one place, that hurts the creator. I think it should be everywhere. In fact, we've already had other publishers come to us and talk about, well, do you mind if we sell it too? I'm like, no, go ahead. Let's get it all out there. Let's everybody sell it.
So you're the more platforms, the better.
More platforms, the better. Absolutely. I really believe that's the only way we're going to get a huge scale of change.
Okay. So you were talking about how Comixology, I mean, the big complaint with any creator is you're getting pennies from them, and they have, there was some creator, they have free Coke for all their employees, but you're like, can't afford to buy a Coke. I mean, I don't know if that's true or not, but there was somebody who was complaining about going to meet with them, and they had all this free stuff, and like, I could barely I'm not making anything off of this. So what's the difference between what are you going to provide? I mean, so it's 35 cents or whatever, 35% for Comixology. What are you guys going to offer instead of that?
It's fluctuated, but as we've started to flesh out exactly what our hidden costs are, and we finally got this going, we've settled on 70% back to the creator, which is double. And that is only because Google and iTunes both take 30. So we're not really making much on the side of it. We're making money on kind of another revenue stream on the creator side. So this is just something that we are ending up putting together because the world needs it, to be honest.
So you said, okay, so you're making, what's the creator side that you're?
The creator side is our Create Oasis platform.
Okay.
That's the platform where everybody's going to come together and create comics together.
Okay. Yeah. And is there a fee to join that or something?
There will be. There will be. Once we go live with that, it'll be $10 a month.
Okay. And that'll keep the lights on?
That'll keep the lights on.
Okay. All right. So you're going to have a lot of creators who are perhaps wary of a new platform and, kind of don't want to get too involved in case you guys, I'm not trying to wish you bad luck, but, if it doesn't work out for you. What do you have to say to those kind of people?
There's really nothing to be afraid of because we've taken out all the risk. Just like Etsy, you come and go as you please. You hold on to your IP. You can sell anywhere you want aside from our platform. There's really nothing to lose. We've made it easy to upload your comic. If you're still worried about it after that, then you're gonna miss out. That's all I say.
All right. How do you feel about printed comic books?
Love them. I feel like digital is the gateway drug to printed comics. In fact, I can't mention names, but we are working with a print company, negotiating, partnering up with a print company so that creators will be able to have two buttons on our mobile, or on Comic Rebel mobile app. One is to buy digital, and one will be to buy a print version for readers.
Okay.
Because we want to totally coin that thing. I don't see why this can't be organized enough to where people could get both.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So as I mentioned earlier, we always like to bring it back to us because it's our show. Have you looked at our website or looked at our comic book or anything?
I haven't I have not. I'm sorry. Do you?
It hurts.
Are
It
you
just
looking
hurts.
for a place to publish it?
Well, actually, we're on several platforms right now, um, including Comixology, which is now Kindle, which we're also on, and some print platforms. I mean, basically it's turned into Kindle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
that's right.
and we're on some print platforms.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're undecided about if we want to expand that beyond those, because it's 4 or 5 and they'll have slightly different formats and things like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just kind of a, you know, even though we're not the artists, I spend a lot of time making things a certain size and
Yeah.
uploading and all that kind of stuff.
Well, you said you wrote them too, right?
Excuse me?
You wrote them?
Yeah, we write them. It's a story of college-age twins who discover that they were granted superpowers when they were younger.
Yeah.
And Paul and his brother are twins, and we thought of this when they were still in college, and so we've been kind of working on it for a while, and we wrote several issues, and then started to look for an artist, and went through several. I don't know if you know about Comic-Con. They have the Comic Creator Connection, and we went through a few of those, and almost found somebody every time, and then we ended up paying somebody, and then after about 5 issues, we went, "This isn't working the way we wanted it to."
Yeah.
And so have found a new artist we've had since issue 6, and we've gone through several colorists because people will, want to do something else or whatever. So.
Gotcha.
But yeah, we've been working on it for a few years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you had difficulty finding people to help you finish your projects, right?
Well,
we did, but we have a stable.
Yeah, we've had the one artist she's working on her. I guess it would be her 14th or 15th issue. So we've been.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
All right.
One of the things that was nice was Comixology actually helped us find a new colorist when we needed one. The first colorist we had was really bad. Yeah, there was
first colors.
Yeah, the first colors, and there was whole pages that were like, "Are they living near lava?" Because it's all this kind of orange glow to everything. And so they actually put us in touch with SCAD, Savannah College of Art and Design, and we got some names of people. We were talking to. I guess one of them, and then they wanted way more money than we were able to afford. Honestly, they were like looking for $100 a page. We're like, okay, good luck. Right out of college, I'd love to make that much money too. And so we ended up hiring a friend of one of the people we were talking to.
Yeah.
And then she did 2 issues, and kind of, I always like to go back and say she kind of saved the book because she made the colors look good.
Yeah.
And then she had to leave for her own, wanted to do something else, and so she put us in touch with somebody who did it for 3 issues, and we were with that colorist deciding that, this isn't working out with the artist, and so she put us in touch with SCAD to help find an artist, and that's who we've worked with, Rachel Wells, ever since.
Yeah.
And yeah, and we've gone through a few colorists in between, but the one we have now she's on her 8th issue or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've been lucky to have sort of a stable group for a while.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's another problem that I think is out there. It's so hard to figure out. It's so hard to find people to work with, not only creatively but personality-wise.
Yeah.
You're limited to Facebook groups and.
That's how we ended up finding our first artist was through a Facebook group.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was actually the best one we could find out there. It was just over time it kind of
deteriorated.
It was a nice way to put it. Yeah, and it was just, sometimes the characters didn't look like the characters we imagined them looking, and I think he got kind of I can't speak for him, but I assume he got kind of tired of doing it or something because it was getting kind of he'd wait for that last page of the issue. It takes 3 months or something.
Yeah.
So we just had to move on.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So we got someone faster.
Yeah, and we're very happy, and she's closer to what we imagined the artwork to be.
Yeah.
So we're but we're still kind of, as I think I mentioned before, that we're going to be doing a Kickstarter with Artith Merrick in February because they want to sell. They want to sell as BDs in France. So the first 5 issues are being formed into a graphic novel, and they're going to try to sell it in France.
Yeah.
And but we're still stuck with those first 5. You know, we want to move beyond those first 5 issues, but we're kind of stuck with those. But anyway, I digress and talk about us. But it's our show. Hey, we have to do that.
I'm in it.
Okay.
Have you looked at our book or website at all?
No.
No, I have not gotten to it. Actually, I kind of came into this a little bit abruptly. Yeah.
We were lined up to talk with somebody.
I just thought I'd ask.
Yeah. No. So we have to end the show now. I'm kidding. So tell people how they can find Comic Rebel.
ComicRebel.com. It's got a lot of information on there, including the link to our publishing platform. You can really find everything you need off of there. Admittedly, there's probably some info that needs to be updated minorly. I'm going to get that.
But websites are hard to keep up. I know that.
They are. 3 of them going at the same time. But,
yeah. I have trouble with the one, so I understand.
Yeah, it's rough.
Yeah.
Or you can anyone can contact me directly on LinkedIn. My name is Jeremy Danger Dean. You can look me up. I'm pretty much willing to talk to anybody. So I'm an open door, open book.
And Danger is your middle name.
Danger is my middle name. I
like that. All right. Well, thanks for being on the show. Appreciate you taking the time. Say hi to Alisa when you see her.
Yeah.
I will.
If you are watching this on YouTube later and you like this conversation, leave a like if you like it, dislike it if you don't, and consider subscribing and ringing that bell.
All right. So until next time, I'm David Hankins.
I'm Paul Hankins.
And you've been on the air with Power Squared.